And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're getting there. Actually, yesterday was a great day. We're getting there thanks to you. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share because this stupidity, it needs to end now. Now, we all knew what a second term this Donald Trump presidency would look like, right? Full throttle, no brakes, power for him, collapse of rights for everyone else. But luckily for all of us, it seems that some of the guardrails, well, let's just say are slightly still in place. Supreme Court of the United States has just asked the Trump administration and Illinois for extra legal briefs on Trump's plan to deploy the National Guard to Chicago, literally underscoring just how high stakes this is. Now, on the other hand, federal grand jury in Chicago also just indicted 6 people, 6, including a Democratic congressional candidate. On Mea Culpa, Loren Piretra and I, we dig into what this really means. A democracy under siege, dissent rebranded as treason, and a president testing just how far he can push the rule of law before it pushes back. Play the clip.
Yeah, I mean, like we knew going into a second term Trump presidency, we knew it was at stake. We knew that it was going to be no fucks given, no holding back, that this is just a pure power grab to enrich his own life at the expense of literally everyone else's. And I wish I was wrong about how far he was going to take it, but we knew that he was going to come in swinging, doing the most insane things. And him every day, we're getting whiplash from like one thing after another. But to me, the thing that keeps me up at night and that is so haunting is that we are kidnapping folks. We are disappearing people, not just men. We are also taking pregnant women. We're taking children. The images out of Chicago when they invaded that apartment complex in south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
And there's images of zip ties and pools of blood next to children's shoes. The place looks ransacked and people are just left with nothing. And these are US citizens. These are people in the process of actively seeking their citizenship, going through the right motions. It's an attack. To me, it's all rooted in white supremacy and white nationalism. And this stuff has, even if you don't give a fuck about people, this stuff has an enormous economic cost too. So we're watching what they're doing, what they did with Alligator Alcatraz, and what they're affording to pay for the student loans and tuitions of ICE agents. If you're an asshole enough that you want to kidnap people for your career, we'll cover the cost of your education. So it's nuts. It's every day is a new low.
The part of Chicago that really threw me for a loop, of course, the disappearing, the zip ties, the children, the blood around the state. I know exactly what you're talking about. What really freaked me out, they used Black Hawk helicopters. Black Hawk helicopters, my friends.
To repel from Earth.
Yeah, they did. They repelled down. They were like if this was Fallujah. Black Hawk helicopters are used in military operations in order to secure a legitimate political purpose prior to war or during war. I mean, it's the Black Hawk.
He's not hiding anything. It's
no.
Clear as day.
They used the Black Hawk when they went after Osama bin Laden. You may remember. And
they have guns drawn at children. Children.
Yeah, well, that'll send you to therapy, right?
Well, I know your story, and I listened to and read some of your work last night, and the trauma inflicted on these kids that will stay in their bones in every cell of their bodies for generations. We are causing generational trauma, and the only like hope that I hold on to is like these kids might be voiceless now, but with time they are going to. Should they survive onto adulthood with this trauma, they're going to be some of the strongest voices of dissent and like call for change. And not that we can't wait until then. Like we have to advocate and do everything we can for them now. But fuck, we've really failed the kids in this country and the families if this is what we're doing and allowing to just go on like it's normal. I read a tweet yesterday. It's technically a thread, but I refuse to use that language, where somebody was like, in Nazi Germany, the Olympics still happened. People still shopped. Restaurants were still open. Like, it was very much business as usual. So sometimes I have a hard time.
If you were anything other than a Jew,
business was still going on, and life, we can make the parallel right now with like what's happening with the Latino communities. Like, I am haunted by the fact that people have to live in fear, and they're taking people from their homes and from the streets. We saw videos in Chicago and in Broadville where they were smashing windows of parents' vehicles at school pickup. Like, this is not about criminals. It's not about cartel. This is about white nationalism, and it's on full display. And, and then on top of the missiles, and like every day is a new day in the traveling circus.
You could say that again. Meanwhile, so Trump's rebranded the anti-corruption and pro-democracy protests, meaning, again, the No Kings protests as an example, and he rebranded. Listen, one thing you got to acknowledge about Trump, he is the king of rebranding, right? I mean, he's rebranding America into Trumpica, right? He has rebranded No Kings into the I Hate America rally. And that's literally straight out of an authoritarian playbook. Redefine dissent as treason. How dangerous is this kind of messaging to our civic fabric?
I mean, it's on par and aligned with the trajectory of everything he's done so far with the MAGA movement, and speaking to the 3 brain cells remaining in people's heads on like, let's make America great. Let's do this. But like, Antifa is a scary word for people with little vocabularies and small brains that don't have the capacity to understand that it is literally just meaning opposing fascism. And fascism, as we know, is literally what Trump is doing right now. It's a strong man who is silencing opposition, wants power and control, wants to blame the shortcomings of his leadership on a specific group of individuals versus accountability to himself. So Antifa might sound like a scary word, and it's a good thing. It's a good tactic for them to use to mobilize people against it. But people have to stand up and say, we are smarter than this. We know better. We can use our brains and our Googles and figure this out. So I think what it signals is way more terrifying than like what we see on the surface with like them attempting to, or kind of designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. One of the things that I believe to be writing on the wall is that we know that they're not going to stop at immigrant communities. They've already pushed far past that, but I really have reason to believe that what's next is that they're going to continue going after activists, organizers, people who speak out publicly in dissent of Trump. We saw that this summer with the Department of Homeland Security detaining people at the airport for hours and questioning them about their social media presence or stickers on their luggage. Anyone who opposed Trump or stood for a pro-democracy world were being held. So what's next? Is it they're coming into the homes of organizers? I mean, you're seeing that firsthand with Department of Justice and Letitia James, and you called a lot of that stuff, but we know inevitably they're not going to stop here.
Well, they have no intention of stopping there. Yeah, which sort of, I want to jump into this whole concept for a second about Antifa, right? Because as you just stated, the administration blaming this all on Antifa for paying and organizing these rallies. They're claiming again that Antifa is the one that's producing those placards.
What are the placards?
A placard, like where it says mass deportation now, those signs. Mm-hmm. But reporters on the ground are saying that it has nothing to do with these extremists that the administration is trying to portray them as. You're talking about veterans, doctors, lawyers, bankers, teachers, families, white collar, blue collar, police officers. You have, you have firemen, you have, white collar, you have everybody. We all know this boogeyman strategy of using Antifa, but I think the part that people are refusing to discuss, and I think it's important, you hear people like Ted Cruz, you hear people, every single one of the enablers, the sycophants, right? Those that think they're within Trump's inner circle, all saying the same thing, that Antifa, which Trump has already designated as a terrorist organization, here's the whole problem, and we don't hear enough of it. Antifa is an idea. It's not an organization. It's not like the NRA.
No dues.
Right. It's
no
not like the NRA. Body
or organizer, no elections. Yeah, it's a principle. And it literally just means opposing fascism.
So if you don't have a hierarchy, there's no president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, there is no headquarters. If you today wanted to write a check to Antifa, there is no organization, there is no bank account. Nothing that they're talking about is true. But yet, when you have people, even like a senator, like a Ted Cruz, that gets up there and talks about Antifa as if they are legitimate, the way I see it is that if hypothetically, Loren, that you go to a No Kings rally, well, therefore, you're a supporter of Antifa. Ipso de facto, you are a member of Antifa. Antifa has now been declared a terrorist organization, i.e., you are now deemed to be a terrorist and you could be detained.
Mm-hmm.
That's, to me, the strategy. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.